Hi, and welcome back to Cole's Custom Shop. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about all kinds of things, both kind of hobby related with the models and with the full-size life stuff. So Wade, what have you been up to lately?
I've been staying busy farming. We're getting stuff cleaned up, doing a little bit of hay, a little bit of baling. But that's about it in my world. How about you, Isaac?
Yeah, well, it's been busy. I was gearing up for the Stetler Farm Toy Show, so that's in kind of a local little show here. They had the antique tractor pull and the farm toy show, and it was great, but a lot of kind of good pressure, I would say, building up to that, of making a whole bunch of models and having kind of writing down a product list. And it was a lot more than just selling the things that I had there. It was giving out my business card and people seeing what I could do so that they can order stuff. And that's where I actually make money. It's not the stuff that I've pre-made, it's the stuff that people want a replica of things. That was kind of a couple months of building up for the show, and then the day of the show, and it went good, and made some money and handed out some business cards.
Nice.
And met some good, cool people.
Good deal.
And saw some antique tractors. Saw lots of models. And was able to sell a few.
Nice. Come across any other modelers like yourself that were doing custom stuff? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. At the show, there was only two others that were doing customs. One guy I know that I bought stuff from he didn't bring any custom stuff this time. He's been pretty busy. Another guy that 3D prints stuff and does things, and actually an older gentleman. He wasn't selling anything, but he had his stuff there for display, and I had seen him before, and he's got some incredible custom trucks, and I didn't realize that I own some of his trucks. A couple years ago, there was a toy auction online, and I bought a bunch of stuff from it, and turns out that was part of his collection.
Oh, cool.
So he's an older guy in his 80s, and he thinned down his collection to just his favorite pieces. And but he was showing me pictures of all this stuff he's built, and I'm like, wait a minute, I have that. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Nice. Well, that's excellent.
It was a little hard for prepping for this toy show, though, because my 3D printer had been broken for a few months. So the original plan was keep what I have and just keep 3D printing stuff, and then some of that stuff I'll sell as a kit. Oh, we've got some lightning in the background. There's if you can't hear, there's a bit of a storm going on outside. Some fierce wind and thunder and lightning.
Golly. Well, be careful it doesn't knock our stand over here.
Yeah, there's even a tree with a nice fresh crack in it that may or may not
still standing. We're good.
Fall. Yeah, hopefully you don't have to replace the fence tomorrow.
If you hear a loud crashing, don't worry, that's just a tree coming through the wall of the house.
Just technical difficulties.
Yeah, no worries.
But because I didn't have my printer, I needed stuff to sell, and I had already committed to 2 full tables, and I didn't really have that much stuff. So I ended up taking some stuff from my own collection and then a whole bunch of prototypes. So I've had several prototype lowboy trailers and pickup headers for combines and tractor parts and truck parts and all these things that were kind of half-finished prototypes that needed paint, needed a bit of modification, needed wheels, needed all those things in order to make it work. So I was able to build a few things, and it worked out pretty good.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely a success.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
So, yeah. I guess we could talk about what's on the table. So I've got 3 pieces here, all custom, and yeah, some pretty sweet stuff here behind this Magnum, which was the first tractor that Case International came out with after the two became under one ownership. It's pulling a Kenzie grain cart. Now, I discovered when researching to build this, that Kenzie was actually kind of like one of the first manufacturers of grain carts.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, like it was way back in the day, trying to speed up the harvest, where there's a bit of a bottleneck, and they came up with a 2-auger design where if you're not familiar with a grain cart, you basically have this big hopper, this big box that's slanted to the middle on wheels, and you pull that behind your tractor, and it has an auger that takes the grain and puts it into a truck. It's so that the truck doesn't have to go into the field, or the combine doesn't have to go to the edge of the field to dump it into the truck. And there's 2 main designs. There is a single auger and a double auger. So a double auger means that this box with a trough basically comes to 1 V, and it's long, and it has a auger at the bottom that's horizontal that pulls the grain to the front, and another auger at the front that can unload. And a single auger is a little less complex, but the shape is actually more complicated because it comes in at an angle from all 4 sides.
Has to all flow into the middle.
Yeah, because you only have 1 point, because it's 1 auger that comes up at an angle, so it can only load into 1 point.
Right.
So Kenzie came up with a double auger design, and I managed to make this one here all scratch built out of pieces of plastic. Took the wheels from an old John Deere. I don't even know what implementer tractor it came off of, but painted the rims white, painted the rest of everything blue, and even had the auger on a hinge so that it can go by and unload. Oh, and if you can hear in the background, we have the fire trucks going. Hopefully it wasn't a lightning fire or a car accident or something, but either way, the fire trucks are going. So, and if you hear any other background noises, we have a new kitten in the family, and
particularly spunky one.
Yeah, he is running around and having fun, making a bit of noise. So yeah, that's this tractor and grain cart, and that goes with my 1980s custom harvest crew. So next we've got this pretty sweet truck. It is a tri-axle Western Star heavy haul truck, and I built this, but I didn't actually design it. So it is a 3D printed kit from a good guy from Alberta here, and he has gotten these kits designed and gets them 3D printed, brings them in, and it's a lot of heavy haul and oil field trucks, which is pretty cool, and a lot of models that you don't find anywhere else. And they're all resin printed. You basically clean the parts and paint them and put them all together, find your own wheels, and turns into a pretty sweet truck.
Nice.
And yeah, he's got different options, if you want bigger fuel tanks, or if you want to run DEF and headache rack or winch or whatever you want, and different bumpers. And it is pulling a trailer that I did design and did 3D print myself, and it is a quad axle log trailer, which is pretty sweet, having all 4 axles there to take the weight. And did something pretty cool with it. I took actual twigs and cut them to length in bundles, and wrapped them with very small chain, and actually took.
Hi guys, sorry about that. Our camera died and we lost some footage. Um, but anyways, I was talking about this log trailer. I used small chains and actually took wire and bent them to be chain binders. Turned out pretty cool in those photos. Next on the table is this cloth silage chopper. Now, no company mass produces a cloth silage chopper in 1/64 scale. I was able to pick up this cheap little toy from somewhere that's fairly close to 1/64 scale and repaint the rims of the wheels, add some details like mirrors and GPS to it, and print some cloth decals to put on the side of there. And it turned out pretty good. Has a folding corn header and makes for a pretty good little silage chopper that didn't cost me very much. Next, I asked Wade a big question. I said, "What is your favorite tractor of all time?" And he answered the John Deere 4440. It is a tractor that his dad had when he started farming, and they've gone through kind of several of them on their farm. Wade has driven it quite a bit and just loves that tractor. My answer to the question is ironically the exact rival of the John Deere 4440. It is an International Harvester 1066. Now, both of these tractors are from the 80s. Both of them came similar horsepower and size and were directly competing with each other. I prefer the 1066 because that's what I grew up with. We've never had a John Deere 4440, but we've had several 1066s. So the neat thing is they're both tractors that are from before our time, but both of our farms have kept them on because they are a great tractor that keeps running grain augers and little cultivators for the garden, and you can have a bucket on it and push snow and different things like that. And they're just a great tractor that doesn't cost the farm much and keeps on going. They were kind of when the diesel engines were really benefiting from a turbo and some of the first successful turboed tractors of their time, and they're just great all around workhorses. But there's some major differences between the two, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit, kind of teasing each other about those differences. But at the end of the day, we both love those tractors. But Wade's favorite is the John Deere, and mine is the International.
So yeah, and as we were saying, like with the John Deere 4450, you get that small round cab, but then with the International 1066, the joke is that you can fit your whole family of 7 comfortably. It is this giant square boxy cab that even sticks out past like your hitch and PTO at the back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this great big giant square.
Yeah, I've driven a 2394, which was quite a bit later, but it still had that overhang over top the PTO for that bigger cab.
Yep, there's a lot of room in there. And
yeah,
especially compared to the John Deere, like it's night and day, those two cabs, and the look so much different.
Yeah, like John Deere has kind of went for that roundy look because even the hood and everything's all kind of round.
Whereas the International, that hood is square and straight.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, but anyways, that kind of brings this to an end, and please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for listening in. Take care.
See you guys.